second day of Cosmoverse. Slides? Oh, I clicked too much. There we go. So this presentation will be about protocol design and how cryptoeconomics can make or break your protocol. So I don't think I need to ask the question, who owns crypto in this audience here, because I guess everybody does. And if I had to guess, how many people of you are building protocols in crypto? Could you raise your hand for me? Roughly a third, a quarter. So either way, if you're owning crypto or if you're building crypto, this might be important for you because you want to ensure that whatever you invest in has sound cryptoeconomics and whatever you build has sound cryptoeconomics as well. So over the course of this presentation, we will go over a collection of experiences and lessons that I've learned and the people I've been working with have learned in building and launching applications and designing them. So let's go over the first point, power to the user. What's this about? So the idea here is that whenever you build an application and there is a piece of the system where you can make decisions, for example, where to distribute incentives, where to put money, where to whitelist something, decision-making power. In general, you want to give that power to the market and to the users. One, because it's more efficient. And second, because it mitigates collusion. Because if there is a power and there's only a single entity holding that power, it just opens up all the doors for backroom deals that you shouldn't want. So let me give you a couple of examples. First of all, liquid staking sets. I know that's a sensitive topic. Some love them, some hate them. But in essence, if you have a liquid staking protocol that has a custom liquid staking set where the team can decide who joins it and who gets how many tokens, then you run into very, very strong case or very high probability of backroom deals happening and collusion happening. Something that nobody likes. And on top, you're leaving a lot of opportunity on the table for users to make decisions and basically fight over their allocations of delegations. And a similar example here is the manual distribution of incentives. Say you're launching a DeFi application, a DEX, a vault for yields, and you as a team decide to put incentives here or there. Again, you're making the decisions, and while the risk of collusion is not as high, it's still very inefficient because the market might think very differently from what you do. So how to do this better? I think the VE model is a really fantastic tokenomic design, and we're going to hear that name a couple of times during the presentation. But in essence, for those of you who don't know it, in the VE model, you lock the native token of the protocol and thereby get decision-making power. Because you're a stakeholder, you lock your token for a long amount of time, and you get the decision. And this model can be utilized for various cases. One of them, obviously, a DEX and incentives, but also we have here in the Cosmos, we have Eris protocol that does this for the liquid staking set, where you can lock the native token of the chain and thereby in a VE style, get delegations to your validator. And on the DEX side, we also have this on Terra with Whitewell together. I think it launched a couple of weeks ago and already attracted millions in TVL in a short amount of time because it's a really very well-aligned system that encourages users to vie for that power and try to get it. So power to the users. If you can, let the free market decide and give the market the power. So when you give markets power to make decisions, there's something fascinating you can do with that, which is tokenizing it. So tokenization, many people think of tokenization of representing objects on a blockchain through tokens. I mean, there's various different definitions, and most of them range around real-world assets, tokenized bonds, stocks, real estate, whatever. But you can also tokenize immaterial things. For example, the power to make decisions, or locks. So if you have a DeFi position that is locked, and that information, who has how many tokens locked for what amount of time, is stored in the smart contract. you can unlock that by tokenizing it, for example, using NFTs. A couple of examples where this could be applied. So for example, staking in the Cosmos. I think everybody has tried this out once or twice in their lives. You have a token, you have a chain, you stake them, you get rewards. And if you want to unstake them, the ticker starts. This can range from a couple of days to up to, I think, 4 weeks is the highest I've seen so far. And this is so inefficient that we have entire protocols in the Cosmos, the biggest protocols built around this inefficiency. We have Stride, Persistence, Backbone Labs, Eris, and countless others that are just existing, so to speak, because of the inefficiency, especially in the unstaking part. Now, if you were, for example, to be able to create an NFT that represents your unstaking tokens, for example, user X has 1,000 Atom unstaking for the next 2 weeks, then you could open secondary markets and let the user either wait the full time or try to sell it or find a buyer and try to sell it and thereby increase volume and really open up a completely new market for buying locked tokens. And the very similar idea here, lock drops, or in general, locked positions in DeFi. You have, say, there's a lock drop, you lock tokens for a year or two, and now you want to get rid of that. So there might be somebody out there with a higher time preference than you, and you might want to sell your locked tokens, and he might want to buy them. So by unlocking that lock, you're not essentially unlocking it, but you're making it tokenized via an NFT, you again create new economic value for your protocol. So in the previous slide, we talked about letting the market decide things, and in this slide, this is about tokenizing the unlocked economic value that you give to the users. And again, a very good showcase or model that does this right is the VE model, because the locked voting tokens, the VE token, voting escrow tokens, are usually tokenized as NFT. So you're not only tokenizing the decision-making or unlocking the decision-making power, you're also tokenizing it in an NFT to unlock secondary markets for this. Moving on to the next point, debt capital. Debt capital is essentially capital that is idle, not used, not productive. And there can be countless of reasons for this. For example, people lose interest, lose their keys, they forget about it. There's an unlimited possibility of reasons why there is debt capital. And there is countless of studies done by various chain analysis companies in different ecosystems. And the numbers range from 30% to 70% of capital being debt in various DeFi protocols or on chains or in staking. That is a lot of money. That is a lot of capital. Whatever application that you're analyzing or building is not efficiently utilizing that debt capital, you're leaving 2-3x on the table of fees or value that you could create for your protocol. A couple of examples here where debt capital is not efficiently managed. For example, staking rewards in the Cosmos. So the native staking module allows you to stake your tokens, then the blockchain usually mints some more and credits them to you. You need to claim them and then they appear in your wallet. However, if your stake becomes idle or dead and the staking rewards are never claimed, they are effectively burned. They're still minted, they're still diluting the total supply, they are still not rewarding the active participants in the system, and they're just dead, just useless. Another big point of debt capital can be, the concept of debt capital can also be ported over or transferred to voting power. For example, if you've seen a new chain launching, you'll usually see that there is some movement in the active set initially, but over time, the active set really gets rigid and there's less movement. And a part of that reason is because capital gets idle and dead and the velocity reduces. So you get enshrined validator sets that start to control the validator set. And that is not a good not a good position for a chain to be in. And the VE model, unfortunately, suffers from this as well. So if you put heavy bribes on your locks initially, you end up with a lot of votes that over time are hard to move. And the solution here is to reset the voting power, after a period of time. And thereby, you reward activity, you make sure that rewards that are being distributed are going to the active stakers, and you prevent this enshrining and rigid structures that we can see in validator sets or in voting systems in general. A good example here in the Cosmos is from the White Whale protocol. The White Whale protocol is a cross-chain exchange that is live on, I think by now, 10 different chains. And it generates fees from various products. And it uses them to perform daily buybacks and distributes them to stakers. However, if you're not claiming your tokens in a period of 21 days, then your rewards will be forfeited and passed forward into the next epoch. Thereby, users that are active, the dead rewards or the dead capitals of the users that didn't claim. And thereby, you have effective reward or an effective efficiency boost of up to 3x. So we have this live for, I think, 2 years by now, and we've observed on some chains that capital to go as high as 80% over the course of 2 years. And if we didn't have this redistribution of rewards, our rewards would be 3-4x less than they are now. Another fantastic example, although a little bit separate from Cosmos, but still very, very relevant, is Aave protocol. Aave protocol, one of the first lending and borrowing markets that were available in crypto. And here, Aave protocol really efficiently makes use of that capital. On the borrower side, every unsupervised loan will eventually lead to a liquidation because there's interest on the loans. So eventually, interest will catch up to you and the loan will get liquidated, thereby feeding the capital back into the system. And on the supply side, well, it's very simple. Because if you supply the tokens, it doesn't matter if if the capital is alive or idle, because the capital is there and the protocol can lend it out. So Aave or lending markets in general tend to have a very, very high utility rate of that capital, while, for example, staking systems or voting systems tend to really suffer from this. And going to my final slide, from product to platform. So a platform is a customizable and permissionless and neutral product grouping. Customizable in the sense that it offers the users various degrees of freedom to change things and tighten some screws or loosen them. Permissionless in the sense that everybody can use it and without any hurdles, and neutral that it doesn't discriminate. And what you can observe in this space is a lot of successful products that stand the test of time are evolving into a platform, or existing platforms or grow their platform, because platforms allow you to create a very strong moat around what you're building and make it very hard for competitors to catch up. So in essence, if you're designing a protocol, try to build a platform and thereby create a moat. And to build a platform, you need to be customizable, permissionless, and neutral. One of the best examples I could think of is Uniswap. Uniswap started as an exchange with that is neutral, that is permissionless, because you can create pools, and it's somewhat customizable because you can decide which assets you're going to list and what the fees are. Uniswap V4, they have moved on to a truly and high customizable exchange where you have hooks before swaps, after swap, before LP, after LP, and this allows entire new types of exchanges to be built using the Uniswap platform. And that will be a mode that will be very, very hard to catch up from competitors. And another one, Ethereum. Ethereum has been the first, we call them smart contract platforms, because they're neutral, they're permissionless, and they're customizable in the sense that you can just build whatever you like into your smart contract. But Ethereum has moved from a smart contract platform to a platform for layer 2s. So it expanded its scope of its platform and thereby creating an even stronger moat. So just to summarize everything here before I opening it up, you want to give power to the users to make decisions wherever possible, to unlock value and prevent collusion. Wherever possible, you want to tokenize power, locks, immaterial things to open up secondary markets and prevent various inefficiencies in the markets. You want to make sure that whatever capital ever flows into your system at any point will be utilized so that you're not accumulating or that you're effectively accumulating or effectively utilizing dead capital, because sooner or later you will have dead capital and a lot of it. And lastly, if you're building a product and it's successful and it finds product market fit, try to build a platform out of it to create a moat and make sure that competitors can't catch up. All right, I think I overstretched my time limit a little bit, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask me after later on. Otherwise, I'm happy to hand it over to Lily again. So thank you very much.